This is NDTV and you are watching NDTV Prime.
Brand new episode of CNB Bazaar Buzz here on the NDTV network. I am Siddharth Vinayak Patankar and we'll get started with first a look at what's coming up. The Yamaha FZ25 takes on the TVS Apache RTR 400V. It is raining in most parts of the country, so how do you protect yourself on two wheels? And speaking of the monsoon, some tips when you're in your car. So we'll start then with that mammoth two-wheeler showdown. Now the 200 to 250cc motorcycle space is quite interesting because you get sort of do-it-all kind of bikes. There are those which let you, flaunt their style. There are those which are great to ride on the street. And most of them do a little bit of everything. Now the latest entrant is the FZ25 from Yamaha. Very capable bike and we have really appreciated it in our review. But then you've also got another one that kind of matches it on performance. That is the latest TVS Apache RTR. And both bikes are pretty closely matched. So how do you decide which one comes out on top? Preetham Bora rode both of them to find out.
The 200 to 250cc segment of motorcycles offers sort of do-it-all bikes. They look premium and stylish, made for the street, so good for daily use, and offer the extra performance that 150cc bikes lack. And in this segment, the Yamaha FZ25 offers a brilliant package. But there's also the TVS Apache RTR 200 4V, which offers near identical performance. We ride them both and try to figure out which one has the edge. The Yamaha FZ25 is a good-looking bike. It may not be over-the-top sporty in appearance, but it certainly feels well-built and stylish. It gets a robust, muscular look, and details like the all-digital instrument panel add to the premium look and feel. TVS Apache 200 4V also carries similar sporty styling. It's edgier, sleeker and has more sharp lines than the Yamaha. The Apache 200's instrument panel is also a full digital unit and it's easier to read thanks to the larger screen and gets more features including a gear position indicator and lap timer. Both are good-looking bikes in their own right and it's a matter of personal choice really to choose one over the other purely on looks alone.
I quite like the way the Yamaha FZ25 looks. It looks very smart, it looks well proportioned and it's well built as well. I like the way the entire bike looks, very muscular. I like the short stubby silencer. It's a well proportioned, well built bike, quite like it in fact. The Apache 200 also is a very well built bike. In terms of quality, it doesn't fall behind the FZ25 at all. But the silencer could have been a little more well designed in terms of looks. But looks are subjective and whatever takes your fancy.
On the road, both bikes are evenly matched in city speeds. The Yamaha FZ25 has a larger 249cc engine, but makes more or less the same power as the TVS. Gear shifts on both bikes are smooth, but the Yamaha's transmission feels more precise and sure. And then there's the pull. The Yamaha's larger engine makes slightly more torque and it pulls more comfortably from lower speeds at a higher gear, so it requires fewer gear changes and that's very handy in traffic. Individually, both bikes have similar performance, as long as you're not trying to get anywhere in a hurry. Neck and neck, both bikes have similar performance and acceleration, up till about speeds of 60 km per hour. It's only when you push harder that the Yamaha's advantage begins to show. The TVS Apache 200 begins to lose steam soon as you hit triple-digit speeds, but the Yamaha continues to pull and pull, and the engine sits comfortably at high speeds for hours on end, leaving the TVS falling behind. Clearly, for highway duties, the Yamaha definitely has the edge.
I quite like the way the Yamaha FZ25 performs. The engine is very smooth and refined. It accelerates fast and smooth. And both bikes have more or less the same amount of power. The Apache 200 makes marginally less power, but it's negligible. In terms of torque, the FZ25 makes a little bit more torque, and all the torque comes in lower in the rev range. What it means in the real world is that you need fewer gear changes on the FZ25 when you're riding in city, when you're maneuvering traffic. But where the Apache trumps the FZ25 is that it gives you a more planted, more stable, and gives you more confidence to maneuver through traffic. And of course, the FZ25 has got a better top end than the Apache 200.
Both bikes weigh exactly the same at 148 kg. And they are light and nimble and offer superlative levels of confidence. They're both agile, and around a corner both bikes stay planted. But it's the TVS which has the upper hand when it comes to quick direction changes. So while negotiating traffic, the TVS responds intuitively, offering a point-and-shoot advantage. And the Pirelli tyres on the Apache 200 offer better grip and more confidence.
So if you have a budget of about 1,23,000 rupees, it's certainly the Yamaha FZ25 that you should be looking at. And if you're in the mood for occasional long-distance journey, it's got a better top end for high-speed highway runs. But if you're mostly going to be using the bike in the city, it's the Apache 200 which takes the cake, because it's got a more planted, more stable feel. And on top of that, it's about 25,000 rupees cheaper than the Yamaha FZ25. So all that extra money you can invest in some good riding gear.
On our combined test ride within the city and highway, the Yamaha returned 33 km per litre, while the TVS returned around 37 km per litre. Yes, that's not a big difference, but if fuel consumption is something you're not willing to compromise on, the TVS does have a very minor advantage. But it's the excellent road manners and eventually the price which makes the TVS edge out the Yamaha. Then again, if you do have the budget and would want to go on the occasional long-distance ride, certainly check out the Yamaha FZ25. It's got everything to be your do-it-all bike.
Now let's talk about the monsoon. It is well and truly upon us, and we'll have some tips for you just a little bit later. But first, a canopy that could protect you from some of those elements and fixes straight onto your scooter or bike. Now, does it look kind of funny? Well, maybe for starters it will, but is it practical and convenient? Well, Cyrus Dower spent some time with it, and here is the report.
The monsoon season is upon us, and what that means, apart from the incessant traffic and the ridiculous potholes, is the fact that if you ride a two-wheeler, you are going to end up getting wet. Now, what normally you would do is get a really nice wind cheater, some rain pants, some gloves and a lovely helmet, and well, you're on your way. But recently, especially in cities like Mumbai and Pune, we've noticed a different trend. A wind cheater, well, not exactly a wind cheater, a cover. Well, not a cover either. A canopy for your two-wheeler, something like this. So, since a lot of you have asked about this, we're going to install one of these on the Navi and see if it's actually worth it. Now, it's not just this big piece of plastic that you get with the kit, you also get a little extra stuff. So you get these two aluminum or, well, fiberglass rods, you get these 90-degree rods to put your mirrors into, and you get these little plastic clips. these parts are a little flimsy and this whole contraption might seem a little complicated. But once you do figure it out, it is actually pretty simple. So let's get on with installing it. Although seen predominantly on scooters, this can actually be fitted on just about any two-wheeler in the market today. So now that we have these two horizontal rods on this, which essentially makes your roof structure, it's pretty simple to install. You flip it over and each side in the front, this one here and similarly there, has two small holes in a plastic cylinder which these two rods, this one here and this one right here, plug into. Now at this point in the review, you expect me to put my helmet on, get on my riding jacket, put my gloves on and take the Navi for a spin with this on it. And well, I'm not going to do that. Plain and simply, why? Because it's dangerous. What this essentially is an air dam. So you're going to have more wind resistance, which makes less performance, less fuel economy. And if you do get caught up in a gust of wind, which in the rainy season does happen, this is just going to act like a parachute and get you completely out of balance, which might be very, very dangerous. And for what? You're going to have a slightly drier head, half a dry shirt or t-shirt, and you're still going to get wet pants. So what's the point? Instead, don't spend your money. 1,000 rupees is what this costs. Don't spend your 1,000 rupees on this. Get a better wind cheater and just get a little wetter, because at the end of the day, your riding safety is more important than just you getting a little wetter.
Let's take a short break here on Bazaar Buzz. We'll come back with answers to your questions and those monsoon tips. Please keep watching.